Welcome to White Cathedral's production of the performance of the Earnest. This performance will have 2 10-minute intervals where the bar will be open. Please remember to switch mobile phones to silent, and we hope you enjoy the show. Croeso perfformiad White Cathedral yn y performance of the Earnest. Bydd y 2 album o 10 munud yn ystod y perfformiad hon, lle bydd fan arfer. Cofiwch rhaid ffôn symudol i llawer, a mwynhewch y sioe.
Mr. Earnest Worthy.
How are you, my dear Earnest? What brings you up to town? Oh, pleasure. What should bring anyone anywhere? Eating as usual, I see, Algie. I believe it is customary in my society to take some slight refreshment at 5 o'clock. Where have you been to, sir? Oh, in the country. And what else do you get it to there? When one is in town, one amuses oneself. When one is in the country, one amuses other people. It is excessively boring. Who are these people you amuse? Oh, neighbours. Got any nice neighbours in your part of Shropshire? None. Perfectly horrid. Can't stand one of them. How immensely you must amuse them. Shropshire is your county, by the way, is it not? Shropshire? Why, yes, of course it is. Hello. Why all these cups? Why cucumber sandwiches? Why such extractless ramblings in one so young? Who is coming to tea? Oh, merely Aunt Augusta and Gwendolyn. Oh, how perfectly delightful. Yes, it is all very well and good, but I'm afraid Aunt Augusta will quite approve of you being here. And why did you say that? Well, the fellow, the way you flirted with Gwendolyn, it's perfectly disgraceful. It's almost as bad as the way Gwendolyn flirted with you. I'm in love of Gwendolyn. I've come up to town expressly to propose to her. I thought you'd come up for pleasure. I thought like business. How utterly unromantic you are. I really don't see anything romantic in proposing. It's very romantic to be in love, but there's nothing romantic about a definite betrothal. But one might get accepted. One usually is, I believe. Then the excitement is all over. The very essence of romance is uncertainty. Why, by the way, married, I'll certainly try and forget the fact. No doubt it. The divorce courts were specially invented for men whose memories so curiously constituted. There's no use speculating about it. Divorces are made in heaven. Please don't touch the cucumber sandwiches. I ordered them especially for Aunt Augusta. But you've been eating them the entire time. That's quite a different matter. She is my aunt. Have some bread and butter. The bread and butter is for Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn is devoted to bread and butter. Perfectly delightful bread and butter it is too. Oh yes, but you need not eat it as if you were going to eat at all. You act as if you were married to her already. You are not married to her already. I don't think you ever will. Why do you say that? Well, in the first instance, girls never marry and then they flirt with girls. I think it's right. Oh, that is nonsense. It isn't. It is a great truth. Accounts for all the extraordinary number of bachelors one sees littered all over the place. In the second instance, I don't give my consent. Your consent? My dear fellow, she is my first cousin. Before I allow you to marry her, you must first clear up the whole question of Cecily. Cecily? What do you mean, I mean by Cecily? I don't know anyone named Cecily. What do you mean by Cecily? Bring me the cigarette case that Mr. Worthing left in the smoking room last time he was on.
Yes, sir.
Do you mean to say you had my cigarette case this entire time? Wish to goodness you'd let me know. I am writing family letters to Scotland Yard about it. I was very nearly offered a large reward. I wish you would. I happen to be more than usually hardcore. Well, there's no use offering a large reward now that the thing is found. I think that's rather mean of you, Ernest, I must say. No matter. Now that I look at the inscription inside, I see the thing's not yours after all. Of course it's mine. You've seen me with it 100 times. And it is a very ungentlemanly thing to read one's private cigarette case. It is absurd to have a hard and fast rule about what one should read and what one shouldn't read. More than half of one culture depends on what one shouldn't read. I don't always discuss one culture. It's not the sort of thing one discusses in private. I simply want my cigarette case back. Yes, but this isn't your cigarette case. This cigarette case was a gift by someone of the name of Cecily. You said you didn't know anyone of that name. Well, if you must know, Cecily happens to be my aunt. Your aunt? Yes. And a charming old lady she is too. Lives down in Tunbridge Wells. Now, give me back my cigarette case. Yes. Why does she call herself Little Cecily if she is your aunt and she lives in Tunbridge Wells? From Little Cecily with her fondest love. My dear fellow, what is there in that? Some aunts are tall, some aunts are not so tall. Surely that is a matter for an aunt to decide herself. You seem to think that every aunt will be exactly like your aunt, which is absurd. Now give me back my cigarette case. Yes. Why does your aunt call you her uncle? From Little Cecily with her fondest love to her dearest Uncle Jack. There is no objection I must admit to an aunt being a small one, but why an aunt, no matter what her size may be, would never call her own nephew her uncle? I can't quite make out. Besides, your name isn't Jack at all. It's Ernest. It isn't Ernest. It's Jack. You've always told me it was Earnest. I've introduced you to everyone as Ernest. You answer to the name of Ernest. You even look like an Ernest. You are the most earnest-looking person I've ever seen in my life. Perfectly absurd you say your name isn't Ernest. It's on your business card. Here is one of them. Mr. Ernest Worthing, B4, the Albany. I will keep this as proof that your name is Ernest. If ever you try and deny it to me, what's Gwendolyn? What's anyone else? My name is Ernest in town and Jack in the country. And the cigarette case was given to me in the country. Yes. That does not explain why your small aunt Cecily, who lives in Tunbridge Wells, called you her dear uncle. Now come on. You'd much better have the whole thing out at once. Oh, my dear Algie, you sound as though you were a dentist. It's very bold of it to sound like a dentist when one isn't a dentist. It produces a false impression. Well, that's exactly what dentists do. Now come on. I may add to this. I've always suspected you of being a confirmed secret bunker, and now I'm quite sure of it. Bunbury's? What on earth do you mean by Bunbury's? I will reveal to you the meaning of that incomparable expression as soon as you are kind enough to explain to me why your name is Ernest in the town and Jack in the country. Well, produce my cigarette case first. Here it is. Now produce your explanation and pray, make it improbable. My dear fellow, my explanation is far from improbable. In fact, it is perfectly ordinary. The late Mr. Thomas Cardew, who adopted me when I was a boy, made me in his will guardian to his granddaughter, Miss Cecily Cardew. Cecily's down in my house in the country, under the charge of her esteemed governess, Miss Prison. Where is that place in the country, by the way? That is not for you to know. You are not going to be invited. But I shall tell you candidly, it is not in Shropshire.
I suspected that. I've bunburyed all over Shropshire on 2 separate occasions. Now go on, why is your name entered in the town, Jack in the country?
My dear fellow, don't think you'll understand my real motives. You are hardly serious enough. When one is put in a position of guardian, one has to hold a high moral tone on all subjects. And as a high moral tone would not be conducive to one's health, one's happiness. I invented a younger brother by the name of Earnest, so I could come up to town as often as I like. Lives in the Albany and gets into the most tremendous scrapes. That is the truth, pure and simple.
The truth is very pure and never simple. Modern life would be very tedious and breathing, and modern literature a complete impossibility.
Wouldn't at all be a bad thing.
Literary criticism is not my forte, dear fellow. Don't try it. It's much better off left to those who have been to university. They do it so well in the daily papers. No! But you are a bunburyist. I was quite right in saying that you were a bunburyist. You are, in fact, one of the most advanced bunburyists I have ever known.
What on earth do you mean?
You have invented a very useful young brother named Earnest in order that you may be able to come out to town as often as you are. I have invented an invaluable permanent invalid named Bunbury in order that I may be able to go out to the country as often as I choose. Bunbury is perfectly invaluable. In fact, if it wasn't for Bunbury's extraordinary bad health, I would maybe down in each United Places, for I really have been engaged to one of this for more than
Gosh, you don't me anyway tonight.
I know! But perfectly careless about sending out invitations. I think it's very foolish of you. There's nothing except people more than not receiving invitations.
You'd much better done with your Aunt Augusta.
I have absolutely no intention of doing anything of the kind. In the first instance, I dined there on Monday, and once a week is quite enough time to dine with one's own relations. In the second instance, whenever I do dine there, I'm always treated as a member of the family and either sat next to no one at all, or two. And in the third instance, I know exactly whom she was sitting next to tonight. She was sitting next to Mary Farquhar, who always flirts with her own husband over the dinner table. It's not very pleasant. Indeed, it is not even decent, and that sort of thing is immensely on the increase. The amount of women in London who flirt with their own husbands is perfectly scandalous. It looks so bad. And besides, now that I know you to be a bunburyist, I want to talk to you about bunburyist. I will tell you all of the rules. I am not a bunburyist.
And if Gwendolyn accepts me, and they kill my brother Earnest, they kill him in any case. Cecily's a little too interested in him. It's rather a bore. And you should do the same with your invalid friend with the absurd name.
Nothing will induce me to part with Bunbury. And if you ever get married, which seems to me to be extremely problematic, you will be glad to know Bunbury. A man who marries without knowing Bunbury has a very tedious time of it.
Gwendolyn accepts me, and she's the only girl I ever marry. I certainly won't want to know Bunbury.
And your wife will. You don't seem to realise that in married life, 3 is company, and 2 is none.
That's the thing that the corrupt French theatre has been powering for the last 50 years.
With a happy English household, it's proven in half the time.
Isn't that cynical? It's far too easy to be cynical.
It's not easy to be anything nowadays. There's such a lot of beastly competition about. That must be Aunt Augusta. Now, if I get rid of her for 10 minutes in order that you may be able to pose to Gwendolyn, may I dine with you tonight?
Oh, I suppose so if you want to.
Yes, but you must be serious about it. People aren't serious about me. So very troublesome.
Lady Braxton and Miss Fairfax.
Good afternoon, dear Algernon. I hope you are behaving very well.
I'm feeling very well, Aunt Augusta.
That's not quite the same thing. In fact, the two things rarely go together.
Dear me, you are smart.
I am awfully smart. Am I not, Mr. Worthing?
You are quite perfect, Miss Fairfax.
Don't think I'm that. That will leave no room for development, and I intend to develop in any direction.
I'm sorry if we are a little late, Algernon, but I was obliged to call on dear Lady Harbury. I haven't been there since her poor husband's death. I never saw a woman so altered. She looks quite 20 years younger. But now I shall have a cup of tea. One of those nice cucumber sandwiches you promised me.
Certainly, Aunt Augusta.
Won't you come here, Gwendolyn?
Thanks, Mamma. I'm quite comfortable where I am.
Good heavens, Lady! Why are there no cucumber sandwiches?
Algernon. I had some crumpets with Lady Harbury, who seems to me to be living entirely for pleasure now.
I hear her hair has turned quite gold with grief.
It certainly has changed colour. From what cause, I of course cannot say. Thank you. I have quite a treat for you tonight, Algernon. I'm going to send you down with Mary Farquhar. She's such a nice woman, and so attentive to her husband. It's delightful to watch them.
I'm afraid, Aunt Augusta, that I'm going to have to give up the pleasure of dining with you tonight after all.
I hope not, Algernon. It will put my table completely out. Your uncle would have to dine upstairs. Fortunately, he is accustomed to that.
It is a great bore, and needless to say, a terrible disappointment to me, but I'm afraid the fact of the matter is that I've just received a telegram informing me that my dear friend Bunbury is taken very, very ill. They seem to think that I should be with him.
It is very strange. This Mr. Bunbury seems to suffer from curiously bad health.
Yes, poor Bunbury is a dreadful.
Well, I must say, Algernon, I think about time Mr. Bunbury made up his mind whether he was going to live or die. This shilly-shallying with the question is absurd. Nor do I in any way approve of the modern sympathy for invalids. I consider it morbid. Illness of any kind is hardly a thing to be encouraged in others. Health is the primary duty of life. I'm always telling that to your poor uncle, but he never seems to take much notice as far as any improvement in his ailments goes. I would be much obliged if you would ask Mr. Bunbury from me to be kind enough not to have a relapse on Saturday. But I rely on you to arrange my music for me. It is my last reception, and one wants something that will encourage conversation, particularly at the end of the season when everyone has practically said whatever they have to say, which in most cases was probably not much.
I will have a word with Bunbury, Aunt Augusta, if he is still conscious. And I think I can assure you that he'll be quite all right by Saturday. The music, of course, is great difficulty. You see, if one plays good music, people don't listen. And if one plays bad music, people don't talk. But I've drawn out the programme, and I can take you through it if you will come with me into the next one.
Thank you, Algernon. It is very thoughtful of you. I'm sure the programme will be delightful after a few expurgations. French songs I cannot possibly allow. People always seem to think they are improper. And either look shocked, which is vulgar, or laugh, which is worse. But German sounds a thoroughly respectable language, and indeed I believe is so. Gwendolyn, you will accompany me.
Certainly, Mamma.
Charming day we are having, Miss Fairfax.
Pray don't talk to me about the weather, Mr. Worthing. Whenever people talk about the weather, I feel quite certain they mean something else. That makes me so nervous.
But I do mean something else.
I thought so. In fact, I'm never wrong.
And I'd like to take advantage of Lady Bracknell's temporary absence.
I would certainly advise you to do so. Mamma has a way of coming back suddenly into a room I've often had to speak to her about.
Oh, Gwendolyn, I've loved you more than any woman I've ever met, ever since I met you.
Yes, I'm quite well aware of that. And I'd often wished that in public at any rate you'd been more demonstrative. For me, you have always had an irresistible fascination. Even before I met you, I was far from indifferent to you. We live, I hope you know, Mr. Worthing, in an age of ideals. The fact is constantly mentioned in more expensive monthly magazines, and has reached provincial office, I'm told. And my ideal has always been to love someone by the name of Earnest. There is something in that name that inspires absolute confidence. When Algernon first mentioned to me he had a friend called Earnest, I knew I was destined to love you.
You really love me, Gwendolyn.
Passionately.
But, you couldn't mean to say you couldn't love me if my name wasn't Earnest.
This is Earnest.
Yes, I know it. But, supposing it was something else, you mean to say you couldn't love me then?
Oh, that is clearly a metaphysical speculation. And like most metaphysical speculations, has very little reference at all to the facts of real life as we know them.
Personally, darling, I really care for the name of Earnest. I don't think it suits me at all.
It suits
Well, really, Gwendolyn. I think of much nicer names. I think Jack, for instance, a perfectly charming name.
Jack? Oh, no. There is very little music in the name Jack, if any at all, indeed. Does not thrill, produces absolutely no vibrations. No. I have known several Jacks, and they've all, without exception, been more than usually plain. Besides, Jack's a notorious domesticity for John. Pity anyone who's married to a man called John should probably never be able to know the entrancing pleasure of a single moment's solitude. The really safe name is Earnest.
Gwendolyn, I must get christened. I mean, we must get married at once.
Married, Mr. Worthing?
Why, yes, you know that I love you and you're not that indifferent to me.
I adore you, but you haven't proposed to me yet. We haven't even spoken about marriage. The subject has not been touched on.
Well, may I propose to you now?
I would think it an admirable opportunity. And to save you any disappointment, Mr. Worthing, I think it's only fair to tell you quite frankly beforehand that I am fully determined to accept it.
Gwendolyn,
Yes, Mr. Worthing. What have you got to say to me?
you know exactly what I've got to say to you.
Yes, but you accept.
Gwendolyn, will you marry me?
Oh, of course I will, darling. How long you have been about it? You've obviously had very little experience in how to propose.
Oh, my own one, you're the only one that I love.
Yes, but men often propose for practice. I know my brother Gerald does. All my girlfriends tell me so. What wonderfully blue eyes you have, Ernest. They are quite blue. I hope you will always look upon me just like that, especially when other people present.
Mr. Wilde, rise, sir, from that same recumbent posture. It is most indecorous.
Mamma, I beg you to retire. This is no place for you. Besides, Mr. Worthing is not quite finished yet.
Finished what, may I ask?
I'm engaged to Mr. Worthing, Mamma.
Pardon me, you are not engaged to anyone. When you do become engaged to someone, I or your father, should his health permit him, will inform you of the fact. An engagement should come on your poor young girl as a surprise, pleasant or unpleasant as the case may be. It is hardly a matter she could be allowed to arrange for herself. And now, I have a few questions to put to you, Mr. Worthing. While I am making these inquiries, you, Gwendolyn, will wait for me below in the carriage.
But Mamma!
In the carriage, Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn, the carriage.
Oh, yes, Mamma.
You may take a seat, Mr. Worthing.
Thank you, Lady Bracknell, but I prefer standing.
I feel bound to tell you that you are not down in my list of eligible young men. Although I have the same list as the dear Duchess of Bolton has. We work together, in fact. However, I am ready to add your name, should your answers be what a really affectionate mother requires. Do you smoke?
Well, yes, I must admit I smoke.
I'm glad to hear it. A man should always have an occupation of some kind. There are far too many idle men in London, as it is. How old are you?
29.
Very good age to be married at. I have always been of the opinion that when a man desires to get married, he should know either everything or nothing. Which do you know?
I know nothing, Lady Bracknell.
I'm pleased to hear it. I do not approve of anything that tampers with natural ignorance. Ignorance is like a delicate exotic fruit. Touch it and the bloom is gone. The whole theory of modern education is radically unsound. Fortunately, in England at any rate, education produces no effect whatsoever. If it did, it would prove a serious danger to the upper classes.
7,000 and 8,000 a year.
In land or in investments?
In investments, chiefly.
That is satisfactory. What between the duties expected of one during one's lifetime and the duties exacted from one after one's death, land has ceased to be either a profit or a pleasure. It gives one position, but prevents one from keeping it up. That is all that can be said about land.
I have a house in the country with around 1,500 acres to it, but I don't rely on that for my actual income. As far as I'm aware, the poachers and anyone who make any money from it.
A country house. How many bedrooms? Well, that point can be cleared up later. You have a townhouse, I hope. A girl with a simple, unspoiled nature like Gwendolyn's could hardly be expected to reside in the country.
I have a house in Belgrave Square, but it is left to the year to Lady Blossom, but I can give it back in 6 months' notice.
Lady Bloxham? I do not know her.
She doesn't go out very much. She's in considerable advance in years.
Nowadays, that is no guarantee of respectability of character. What number?
149.
Oh, the unfashionable side. I thought there was something. However, that could easily be altered.
What? The fashion or the side?
Both, if necessary, I presume. What are your politics?
Well, I really don't have any. I'm a liberal unionist.
Oh, they count as Tories. They dine with us, or come in the evening at any rate. Now to minor matters. Are your parents living?
I have lost both my parents, Lady Rackham.
Both? To lose one parent, Mr. Worthing, may be regarded as a misfortune. To lose both looks like carelessness. Who was your father? He was evidently a man of some wealth. Was he born in what the radical papers call the purple of commerce, or did he rise from the ranks of the aristocracy?
I'm afraid I really don't know, Lady Rackham. I said I'd lost both my parents, but it'd be nearer the truth to say that they seem to have lost me. Well, you see, I was found.
Found?
Yes, Lady Rackham. Mr. Thomas Cardew, a charitable gentleman, found me and gave me the name Worthing, because he had a first-class ticket to the town in his pocket at the time. Worthing is a town in Sussex. It's a seaside resort.
Where did the charitable gentleman with the first-class ticket to a seaside resort find you?
In a handbag.
A handbag?
Yes, Lady Rackham, a handbag. A somewhat large, black leather handbag with handles to it. A perfectly ordinary handbag, in fact.
In what locality did this Mr. James or Thomas Cardew come across this ordinary handbag?
The cloakroom at Victoria Station. It was given to him in mistake for his own.
The cloakroom at Victoria Station?
Yes, the writing line.
The lines immaterial. Mr. Worthing, I confess I feel somewhat bewildered by what you have told me. To be born, or at any rate bred, in a handbag, whether it had handles or not, seems to me to display a contempt for the ordinary decencies of family life, which remind one of the worst excesses of the French Revolution. And I presume you know what that unfortunate movement led to.
I would like to know what you want me to do about it, Lady Rackham. You know I'd do anything to ensure Gwendolyn's happiness.
I would strongly advise you, Mr. Worthing, to try and acquire some relations as soon as possible, and to make a definite effort to produce at any rate one parent of either sex before the season is quite over.
I don't see how I can do that. I can produce a handbag at any moment. It's in my cloakroom at home. That should satisfy you, Lady Rackham.
Me, sir? What has it to do with me? You can hardly imagine that I and Lord Bracknell would dream of allowing our only daughter, a girl brought up with the utmost care, to marry into a cloakroom and form an alliance with a parson. Good morning, Mr. Worthing.
the way she has. She's always refusing people. I think it's most related to her.
Gwendolyn is right as a trivet. As far as she is concerned, we are engaged. Her mother, on the other hand, never met such a woman. I don't really know what one is like, but she is a monster without being a myth, which I think is rather unfair. Oh, I'm sorry, Algie. I shouldn't talk of your relatives in front of you like that.
My good fellow, I love hearing my relations' views. It's the only reason why I put up with them at all. Relations are simply a tedious pack of people who have the slightest knowledge on how to live, nor the slightest instinct about when to die.
That is nonsense.
It isn't.
But I'm not going to argue about it with you. You love to argue about things.
That's exactly what things were originally made for.
On my word, if I thought that, I'd shoot myself. You don't think Gwendolyn's going to turn into a mother in 150 years' time?
All women become like their mothers. That is their tragedy. No man does. That's his.
Is that clever?
Perfectly phrased and quite true if any observations of life should be.
It's perfectly easy to be clever nowadays. The whole world is full of clever people. You can't go out without bumping into clever people. It's a public nuisance. I do wish we had some fools left.
There are some fools there.
I'd certainly like to meet them. What do they talk about?
The fools? Well, about the clever people, of course.
Oh, fools.
And by the way, did you tell Gwendolyn the truth of you being Earnest in town, Jack in the country?
My dear fellow, it's not the sort of thing one blurts out to a nice, fine girl like Gwendolyn. What strange ideas you have how to behave to a woman.
The only way to behave to a woman is to make love to her if she is pretty, and to someone else if she is paid.
That is nonsense.
And what about your brother? What about Prophet Earnest?
I shall get rid of him. I shall say he died abroad, in Paris in fact, of apoplexy. Lots of people die of apoplexy suddenly, don't they?
Well, yes, but it's hereditary, my dear fellow. It's the kind of thing that runs in families. You're much better off saying it's severe chill.
You sure severe chill isn't hereditary or anything of the sort?
Of course it isn't.
Very well then. My brother Ernest carried off in Paris because of severe chill. That gets rid of him.
But I thought you said that Miss Cardew was quite taken with your poor brother Earnest. Don't you feel he's lost a great deal?
And Lisa says she's not a silly romantic girl. She's got a capital appetite, goes for long walks and ignores her lessons.
I'd quite like to meet this Cecily.
She'll certainly make sure you don't. She is excessively pretty and only just 18.
Have you told Gwendolyn about you having the excessively pretty ward who's only just 18?
Just blur that out. Gwendolyn and Cecily are bound to become great friends. I'll bet you anything within half-hour meeting they'll be calling each other sister.
We would only call each other sister when they've called each other a lot of other things first. Ooh. But we must go and get changed if we were going to get through the table tonight at Parish. Did you know it's nearly 7?
It's always nearly 7.
Oh, I'm hungry.
Never in a time when you weren't.
What shall we do after dinner then? Go to the theatre?
Oh no, I loathe listening.
Oh, we could go to the club.
Oh no, I hate talking.
We could trot around to the Empire again.
Oh no, I can't bear to look at things. It's so childish.
Well, what shall we do then?
Nothing.
Well, it's awfully hard work doing nothing. But I don't mind hard work as long as there's no definite object of any kind.
Miss Fairfax.
Oh, but how is Gwendolyn?
Algie, kindly turn your back. I've sent you particular statements for wedding.
Didn't know whether I can allow this at all, Gwendolyn.
Algie, you're always adopted a strictly immoral attitude towards life. You're not quite old enough to do that.
Oh my darling.
Earnest, we may never be married. From the expression of Mama's face, I fear we never shall. Few parents nowadays pay any regard to what their children have to say. The old-fashioned respect for the young is fast dying out. Whatever influence I had over Mama, I lost at the age of 3. And though she may prevent us from becoming man and wife, and I may marry someone else and marry often, nothing she can possibly do would alter my eternal devotion to you.
Oh dear Gwendolyn.
The romantic story of your origin, as related to me by Mama with unpleasing comments, has naturally stirred the deeper fibres of my nature. Your Christian name has an irresistible fascination. The simplicity of your character makes you exquisitely incomprehensible to me. Your town address at the Albany I have, but what is your address in the country?
The Manor, Walton, Hertfordshire.
There is a grateful service, I suppose. It may be necessary to do something desperate, but that requires serious consideration. I shall communicate with you daily.
Oh my woman.
How long do you remain in town?
Till Monday.
Good. Algie, you may turn around now.
Thank you. I've turned around already.
And you may ring the bell.
Ah! proceed to your carriage?
Certainly.
I shall see Miss Fairfax.
Yes, sir.
A glass of sherry, Lane.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow, Lane, I'm going bummering.
Yes, sir.
Probably shan't be back until Monday. You can put all of my dress clothes, my smoking jacket, and all of the bunbury suits.
Yes, sir.
I hope tomorrow will be a fine day, Lane.
It never is, sir.
Hey, you're a perfect bastard.
I do my best to give satisfaction, sir.
There is the most sensible, intellectual girl I've ever met. What are you to amuse that? Oh, I'm a little concerned about poor Bunbury, that's all. One of these days, your friend Bunbury is going to get you into tremendous scrape. I love scrapes. They're the only things in life that aren't serious. Oh, that is nonsense. You never talk anything but nonsense. Nobody